Hey everybody, how's it going out there? Welcome to Movies and Music with AJ. My name's AJ, thanks for watching. And today we're back with another horror movie reaction. We're going to be watching Child's Play from 1988, and I'm excited to finally be meeting Chucky. You know, I'm in a similar boat with this film and this franchise as I was with A Nightmare on Elm Street when I watched that 2 weeks ago, which is, you know, with that movie, you know, I was familiar with the name Freddy Krueger. I knew what he looked like. You know, he's just such a big part of pop culture and film history that, yeah, of course I knew his name and what he looked like. But beyond that, I really didn't know anything about the character itself. I didn't know his origins. I didn't really know anything about the story of the film itself. And I'm pretty much in the exact same position with Child's Play, which is I know the name Chucky, I know what he looks like, I know that he cuts people up with a knife, and beyond that, that's pretty much all I know. Yeah, so if you don't know and if you're new to the channel, first of all, welcome. But yeah, I started recently doing horror film reactions, and I'm doing them every other Friday. And that's just because I wanted to give horror films their own space on this channel, because I do movie reactions every Monday, but genre-wise, those tend to be comedies, dramas, action films, and I just wanted to be able to dedicate myself to horror as well. And so yeah, the first two films I've watched have been these iconic horror films from the 80s, starting with Friday the 13th and then A Nightmare on Elm Street. And yeah, there's just something interesting about watching these movies because these are movies that are such a big part of the pop culture landscape. They're movies that I've heard of and that I know about, but that I've never actually watched. So, you know, it's going to be a fresh experience, but somehow still also nostalgic at the same time, you know, just because I know these characters. So I feel like that's a good place to be as far as, you know, going into a movie and reacting. It's going to be fun to finally see these characters in action and learn their backstories and, you know, see what these stories are all about. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. And I think this is going to be a pretty short and sweet intro. I have a propensity to sometimes ramble. You know, I've had intros that have pushed near 10 minutes. I have gotten some comments about it. Somebody wrote on my Jaws reaction video, you know, longest intro ever with a period in between each words for emphasis. So yeah, I sometimes ramble, but sometimes I just like to keep it short and sweet. Although my explanation of that was a little bit of a ramble, so staying on brand. But anyway, yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. This is going to be my reaction to Child's Play from 1988, directed by Tom Holland. Not Spider-Man, a different Tom Holland. Let's go.
I got the Strangler! Walk fast and build
The Strangler? Okay. Just jumping right into it. I'm digging how they just jumped right into it, not wasting any time. Let's just start off with a chase and a gunfight. This guy's the Strangler. That's a cop. Good enough.
Don't leave me, God, no!
Well, for being a Strangler, seems kind of scared, kind of panicked. Doesn't come off as like a real vicious murder.
Give it up, Ray! It's over!
He's going into a toy store. Is he gonna encounter Chucky? There's a bunch of Chuckies. Good guys, that's what they're called. Oh! That seemed like it would have been fatal. It's like right in the chest, wasn't it? Not too far from the heart.
I'm gonna get you for it!
I'm gonna get you for killing me? I don't know, I feel like when you're dead, it's pretty much over. There's no getting anyone. This guy kind of looks like Hugo Weaving with a wig. Oh, so is he gonna like somehow transfer his soul or his consciousness into one of these dolls? Oh.
Give me the power I beg of you!
Okay. Has some supernatural abilities. Knows some dark magic. That was a pretty cool looking stunt. What in that store was that flammable? It's a good design of that doll, because on its own, sitting there, it doesn't look particularly scary. I mean, it looks a little weird. It looks a little off-putting. It has that 1,000-yard stare, but all dolls just have that kind of creepy 1,000-yard stare look. And I've seen, you know, pictures and still frames from this movie where he does look scary. So it's cool that they're gonna do that through the action. Because on his own, he just looks like a standard doll. And he's got the cereal, he's watching the cartoon, wearing the outfit. This kid's a super fan, huh?
We've got a very important good guy message just for you.
Boy, have I got
Ooh, that's and the sugar.
Now you can have
Oh,
your
yeah,
very
that's...
own good guy
No.
doll.
I like my sugar with sugar. That's basically what he's telling us.
Hi, I'm Oscar, and I'm your friend to the end.
Oscar?
Heidi ho! Wow!
Best friend. So remember to tell Mom and Dad you...
Where is this kid's parents? Where's the supervision? Oh, see, that is something him and I have in common, though. Because I love me some butter. Especially on some toast.
Mommy!
Oh, is he making this breakfast for his mom? Well, that's nice of him. As chaotic as that all was and as much of a mess as he made. It's the thought that counts.
30, it's only 6:30 in the morning. How long you been up, birthday boy?
Since forever.
You'd never catch me up at 6:30 though, at this age. Even if it was my birthday.
This looks just excellent.
Can we open my presents now, Mommy?
Yes, we can.
Terrific!
Well, what do you think?
I want a good guy to go with it.
You know that's all that you want for Andy? It only costs $100. Yeah, the good guy doll. There's a peddler in the alley behind the store, and I think he's got one.
Gonna get it after all.
Is it a good guy or not? Andy's gonna love it.
Mrs. Barclay, so nice of you to drop by. Have a nice break. We have specified break times for activities like that, Miss Peterson, and we're shorthanded tonight. You'll have to fill in for her.
I can't. I have to pick up my son at the daycare center in an hour. It's my son's birthday.
Mrs. Barclay, are you happy with your job here?
Have any of you guys had bosses like that? I feel like luckily I've had bosses that were pretty understanding about stuff like that. I mean, I've had some jerks for bosses, don't get me wrong, but they were jerks in other ways. Not so much about being that strict about being able to take a day off.
A good guy! I knew it! I'm Andy! What's your name? Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end.
You're welcome, honey.
Charles Lee Ray has just escaped the Michigan Avenue precinct. More details to follow on the news at 9.
Hey, Chucky, wanna see my room?
Is Chucky watching the news? Creepy.
Thanks, Terry. In other news,
Of course she's gonna blame the kid, because why wouldn't she?
Okay, mister, what do you have to say about this, huh?
Did you do that, Chucky?
Andy, stop it. Now, come on, under the covers. Hurry.
That's always a good story trope. You know, we all know kids are so imaginative and, you know, can let their imaginations run wild. And so you can end up with these situations where something like this happens. Parent or the guardian is obviously not going to believe the kid because they're just assuming the kid is playing a game. And as a result, they get in trouble for it. You know, it's very easy for adults to not believe kids. You know what I mean? So that's always a fun story trope. You can do a lot with that in stories like this that involve, you know, supernatural elements. Chucky moves pretty quickly. What does Chucky want? Oh, he locked her in. I see.
How did that happen?
She picked that up quick.
Hi, how's it going? Everything's fine.
Except I'm about to get killed. It's about to be hammer time. I like how we zoom in just to be extra sure that he's not there. That had some impact. Yeah, you could feel that, just every bone crunching inch of that impact. That was some good sound design, that was good stunt work. First of all, how much force can that little doll generate?
Andy?
He's just reading the paper on the couch.
Are you alright?
Oh, I wonder if they're gonna blame the kid for this, if they're gonna think he did it. Oh, that's so messed up. He just seems like such a good, sweet kid.
you all right?
I mean, how alright is she supposed to be right now?
Come on. You got any idea what these are?
Oh man, they are gonna blame the kid.
What are you implying?
Chucky wanted to know what was going on.
Andy, I want you to go to bed.
Did he notice? Is this kid a better detective than the actual detective?
Mommy, I know who was on the kitchen
Who?
Chucky.
Your doll?
Tell him why you know that. No, no.
Who are you talking to?
Chucky. Maggie was a real bitch and got what she deserved.
How can you say?
I'm sorry. I'll stop making up stories.
Poor kid. He's having to lie to his mom because she won't believe him.
I've got Chucky.
Trying to think what my Chucky would be, you know? Like at this age, what kind of doll or toy would I have if one was going to come alive and kill people? Definitely would not have been anything like this. I was not into human-esque dolls when I was a kid. Honestly, like my version of this story at that age, it probably would have been like a stuffed penguin going around killing people.
I'd love to hug you too.
This kid's so sweet. It's kind of interesting, you know, first and foremost, it's a horror movie, and that's what we're getting, you know, as the primary surface level details. But there's sort of this background of it that's like, she's a single mom, boss won't give her time off or let her take breaks, making her work shifts. This kid is just like this sweet, quiet kid who's just like, clearly they've lost the father. I think he had mentioned daddy being up in heaven. So there's this like subtext or underlying story of like just how shitty society can be to single moms and working moms. Chucky's fast, man. Is he gonna blow up this house? Just let the gas run?
Chucky!
Kaboom. Wow. That's actually pretty clever. Trick this guy into killing himself. Yeah, what was the budget on this movie? They blow up a lot of stuff in this film. I was honestly expecting like a really kind of just low budget slasher. Getting a lot of big set pieces so far.
Unless you start telling the truth. Right now, they're going to take you away from me.
Just really leveling with him.
Maybe Andy should spend a couple of days with us.
Say something, damn it!
Hi, I like to be hugged.
My instinct would just be, as this mother, to just get rid of this doll and just not have it in the house or anywhere near me. Ooh, the plot thickens. He doesn't even have his batteries in him. Uh-oh. Ooh, I like this camera. You can see the background just sort of wobbling as it followed her. Just really puts you in the mental state of the character, you know?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Oh, the way he just rolled under the couch. Don't do it. Why would you do that? Yeah, I'm just immediately breaking this doll into a bunch of pieces, putting it in a bag and throwing it in a dumpster. In fact, I'm driving like 10 miles away from where I live and throwing it in a dumpster. Not my dumpster.
Come on, talk. I said talk to me, damn it! All
Oh,
right,
I just got chills.
make you talk.
I would still break them into pieces before doing this though, you know?
You stupid bitch!
There we go. I guess he can talk. Oh, that face. Throw him in the fire. It's so creepy. Alright, and there's just this one scene, this movie got way better for me. Like, it was okay up until now. It's a little slow going. But now we see the real Chucky. And now I just feel like the movie really just started, you know?
What are you doing back here?
Andy was telling the truth. Chucky is alive, and he killed Eddie Caputo. He came alive in my hand. I dropped him, and he got up and ran out of the apartment.
Good night, Mr.
Sounds crazier than the kid's story.
Wait a minute!
Where are you going?
To find Chucky!
To find
How
Chucky!
you gonna do that?
Where'd you get the doll from?
A burned out toy store on Wabash. That's where I got it.
Oh, he's the detective that chased him in that opening scene, right?
There's nothing there. It's an abandoned wreck of a store. It was struck by lightning the night that Charles Lee Ray died.
How do you know that?
Because I was there. I was the man who killed him.
Why do I feel like Chucky might be in the car? Eee, shanking him. That's like not deep enough to mortally wound him, but just deep enough to like to really cause him problems. It's not gonna end well.
Hi, Mikey!
Uh-oh.
You can't hurt me!
I mean, apparently he can. That lighter seemed to have hurt him. I like how he's just toying around with him. No pun intended.
Over here. Hi. Last night I got shot. It hurt like a son of a bitch, it even bled.
You're turning human.
What?
More time you spend in that body, more human you become.
So he's just gonna have to transfer from Chucky to Chucky? Or I guess Oscar/good guy?
You perverted everything I've taught you and used it for evil, and you have to be stopped.
Your own personal mojo, Doc.
Voodoo doll? Oh.
So long, John.
That was some doll-on-doll violence.
Must save the boy. Must get his soul into him like you got into doll. His heart is almost human. It's the only way through the heart.
I bet that's not him, though. It's a diversion tactic. Yep, knew it. Poor kid. Oh man, this is gonna be intense. That's grotesque. Just gonna set up, get ready for battle.
That's right!
Oh,
Ade dui dembella, Varencella Santeria.
I don't practice Santeria. I ain't got no crystal ball. Set him on fire. They'll help here, kid. Poor kid. He's just traumatized.
We're friends to the end, remember?
This is the end, friend.
Nice. Love they give him the badass, like, about to kill the villain line. It's intense. Chucky's not dead. Chucky's relentless. Smoking.
Give me the boy!
He's about to go shining and just break open the door. It's so shining. Ooh, he no longer feels pain. He's the Terminator of dolls. There you go. It's just Statue of Liberty's his way down.
Kill him! Kill him!
The heart! Shoot him in the heart!
That slow motion.
Wanna play?
Creepy.
Andy, come on. We're gonna go to the hospital.
What is this freeze frame? Oh man. So yeah, first and foremost, just round of applause for practical effects in action. Just how awesome did Chucky look in this movie? Like, just so disturbingly real and terrifying. And again, it's practical effects. That is a drum that you will hear me beat a lot on this channel. I love good practical effects, and nothing against CGI and computer graphics. That is a whole art form and talent on itself. And, a lot of times it is really necessary to be able to pull off certain kinds of shots. But for the most part, I just feel like nowadays there's just an over-reliance on it, and it's used where it doesn't need to be used, and it's used to the detriment of practical effects. And, honestly, this is a good example because there's a one-to-one comparison here, which is they did a remake of Child's Play, I feel like just a couple years ago. It's pretty new. And I remember seeing the trailer for that, and, I don't know if it was pure CGI or if there was some practical mixed with CGI. But I do know when I watched that trailer that something about it looked a little off. It didn't look as good as this Chucky. And so whether or not that was, a mix of CGI or just full CGI, clearly they were relying on some computer graphics that they wouldn't have been able to use back in 1988. And as a result, you see the difference. You see, not to diminish the work of the people who worked on this remake, but I don't, if you look at the two side by side, I don't think it's any contest. 1988 Chucky, hands down, just looks great, looks, real, looks terrifying. It's just, why wouldn't you do practical effects? I mean, I'm guessing it's really comes down to budget issues and time issues. I'm sure it's just, quicker to just do CGI in post than it is to, do the pre-production and then having it work in production, because there's that whole thing, like, I remember with Jaws, learning about that and, how unreliable, was it Bruce? I think y'all have told me that shark's name was Bruce, and how unreliable Bruce was on the set, just constantly not working. So I imagine that's sort of a worry when dealing with practical effects, that they're not going to work on the day of. So I get sort of the practical behind the scenes reasons for relying on CGI, but at the same time, man, just some things, like I said, you just can't beat a good practical effect. Yeah, I will say though, and I think I said this during the movie, it wasn't until Chucky came alive that I feel like the movie itself came alive. We had that first 30 minutes where there was this sort of like, he's talking to the kid, but we haven't seen him talk to the kid, and nobody believes the kid, and like it's kind of like this, what exactly is going on. And I imagine that would have played differently if you were watching this in the theater and maybe not even having watched the trailer for it, back in the day. There would have been some suspense there of like, well, what is going to happen? But me sitting here watching it, 30 plus years later, and knowing that he does come alive, and having seen still images of what he looks like when he comes alive, me knowing that with that sort of hindsight, or that foresight, I guess, it did make those first 30 minutes kind of drag a little bit for me. I just wanted it to get to that, get to the action, get to Chucky just wreaking havoc. So I don't know if that's necessarily the movie's fault, or if that's just on me for knowing what I do know about this movie. But yeah, like I said, once he did come alive and started just going full Chucky, that's when the movie really just kicked it into high gear and came alive itself. So from that moment on, I was hooked. But yeah, just fun overall movie. Be interesting to see how they end up making sequels out of this. I just read a comment that somebody posted on my reaction to Friday the 13th about how that film was not intended to have a sequel, it was intended to be a standalone film, and they sort of had to rework things to make a sequel make sense for that film. And I kind of get the same sense here. Like, I don't know how you would, get a sequel out of this. Chucky, clearly, according to the rules of this first film, they killed Chucky dead the way he was supposed to be, shot him through the heart. But yeah, I'd be interested to know if this was intended to be standalone, or if they really did have a sequel in mind when they made this first film. Because it feels pretty standalone, feels pretty, that ending feels pretty conclusive. Anyway, speaking of endings, I think I'll go ahead and end this video. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, and if you want to follow along with more of my movie reactions, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Signing out for today, this has been Movies and Music with AJ. My name's AJ, thanks for watching, and have a good day.